It is now my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, who is both an exceptional athlete and patriot. Clint Bruce was an extraordinary high school athlete who chose to take his sense of patriotism and passion for sports to the United States Naval Academy. There, he became one of the most decorated athletes in the Academy's history, to include captain of the football team, MVPs, multiple All-Star appearances. Following his military service, Clint played in the NFL for both the Baltimore Ravens and the New Orleans Saints. When given the opportunity to become a Navy SEAL, Clint left the NFL and successfully completed BUD/S training to become a member of the vaunted SEAL Team 5. During his service with Team 5, Clint deployed on multiple occasions in support of counterterrorism operations in hotspots around the globe. Please join me in giving a Texas welcome for Clint Bruce.
I want to add to my resume that I know Raphael. Can we give him another round of applause? This is so special, the opportunity to come here and to be with you all. And I got to go ahead and get this out of the way because I know what's happening. Anytime I'm introduced as a college football player, a professional football player, a former Navy SEAL, the image of what that person looks like starts kind of coalescing in everyone's mind. And then I come out on stage and there's this kind of half-second pause. And everyone's like, is that the guy introducing the guy? Because I didn't think Navy SEALs looked like that. Here's the deal. Navy SEALs come in all shapes and sizes, and my shape is round. And if you know anything about physics, round is the strongest shape in all of nature. So when things get really hard, all these perfect V-shaped guys, they're gonna break in half. And I'm just gonna keep on rolling. Like it's a rise. Round people rise up. It's just science. What a privilege it is to be here to encourage you as you encourage others. I mean, that is maybe the highest form of stewardship of our time, is to use our time lifting others and watching them learn stuff about themselves that we know about them already. Or even magically when we get to learn about them as they learn about themselves at the same time. And that is what the form of athletics is. You know, it is a great privilege of mine to be able to kind of go and share some of the things I've learned along the way. And whenever I get to go speak, I get excited, but I don't get excited because I like hearing myself talk, but I get excited because I get to share with people what I learned along the way. And sometimes those things I learned from people, those people aren't with me anymore, and I'm going to get to share with you what I learned from them. It brings them back to life to me again. And you miss these people that I miss too. And there's symmetry and stewardship of our days in that. And I love the opportunity to answer questions. And one of the questions I get asked often because of my background, and I'm sure you get this too with your profession for the law enforcement officers in here, one of the questions I get asked all the time is like, hey, what's your favorite gun? What's your favorite gun? It's a natural question. There's nothing wrong with it, but I always pivot off of it. And I go, hey, are you asking me what my favorite gun is or what my favorite weapon is? And what will happen is the younger the audience is, the faster they'll go, it's the same thing. And the older the audience is, they'll just kind of intuitively know there's a little bit of a difference. And I always look at the younger men and women, I go, hey, listen, a gun is a tool. A weapon is what I use to win. My favorite weapon is a map. Because if I have a map, I have everything. I know where the bad guy will be. I know what to come in, what to bring, what to leave, how to get home. And if I have a map, the worst I will ever be is wrong. But I won't be lost. And wrong and lost are different animals. I've been both. I've been wrong, I've been lost. I hate them both, but I will take wrong over lost any day, because if we're lost, any move can be wrong. But if we're wrong, it's just a matter of realizing it. Remembering where we said we wanted to go, availing ourselves to the wisdom of those who've been where we say we want to go, or those who are there now, and the camaraderie of those who want to get there as badly as we do. And then we just got to do the work. And kind of want to describe the maps of my life, what I've lived on, and everybody has these versions of this. This isn't unique to me. It's just kind of how I articulate my life. I've lived on really 4 maps. I've lived on the ball field, the battlefield, the boardroom, and the breakfast table. And the ball field is this map that you're inviting athletes onto and helping them see stuff in themselves that we've always known about them, or discovering at the same time stuff no one even knew about them until adversity gave them an opportunity to rise. When I kind of describe my life biographically, I say I lived on the ball field. I played football and up near DFW, played football at the Naval Academy, played in the NFL. No one knows I played in the NFL because I played the same position as Ray Lewis. He's pretty good. I do remember being at practice one day going, it might be easier to become a Navy SEAL than beat out Ray Lewis. And it was, so I did. And that begins my season of life as a member of the United States military. I served in the SEAL teams, and I'm proud of being a SEAL, of course, but the SEAL teams is one finger on a fist, on an arm, on a body that is the United States security military apparatus. And the only reason we go forward is because there are brave men and women willing to take care of our families while we're gone. So it takes all of us to make this place safe. And the boardroom is the professional endeavors, and the breakfast table is the family I was born into and the family I'm trying to build in my family. And when I kind of guide and govern my life now, like you are doing in your own lives, and how you're helping these athletes kind of build and chart their course to amazing places, I kind of have three maps. I have the ball field, my mental and physical health, the boardroom, professional endeavors, and the breakfast table is my bride and I, building daughters, 3 daughters that just love us, that matters to others. And I think all of life is about having exes worth going to and people worth going with. And the magic that you are doing with the law enforcement torture run is you're helping athletes build maps. You're helping athletes go from perhaps feeling lost to coming on a map and picking X's that are high and hard and scary. And that's really what life is. Life's about picking high and hard X's on maps that you don't know you can make it to. But if you surround yourself with people who believe in you and teach you to believe in yourself, you can go further and faster than you ever thought possible. And that is a mighty thing, to be an encourager, to be a cartographer for an adventure that all these athletes are. Because fundamentally, that's what they are. That's what you are, athletes. You are adventurers. Breaking ground and breaking trail in this ever never-ending competition of you versus yesterday you. I remember with my daughters, I was teaching about just what competition really is, and fundamentally competition is you versus yesterday you in the context of something else next to somebody doing the same thing. And I remember writing on their doors, you are greater than or equal to yesterday's you. And as my oldest daughter got a little older, she came home from school one day, she said, Dad, I said, yeah, babe. She goes, it's pointing the wrong way. It's you are less than or equal to yesterday's you. Instead, you are greater than Pac-Man eats the bigger. And I was like, you know what I'm saying, right? But that's what athletics is. The opportunity to beat yesterday's you. And no matter by how much, when you do it, you're a champion. And so much more than life. You know, I was one of the very first units overseas, and after 9/11, when 9/11 hit, we were one of the very first units overseas, and I don't talk a lot about what I did over there because I just didn't do very much. You could swing a bat and hit someone far more accomplished than I was in the special operations community, and I think a lot of what we did over there needs to stay over there, but I'll kind of tell this story just to kind of prove a point. We were one of the very first units overseas, and we were doing what's called a MEO, a maritime interdiction operation. We were hitting ships in the middle of the night. It was awesome. It was like everything I'd signed up for. I'm like, I'm an American pirate, and this is all legal, right? Like, we're good? We can do that, you know? Had to ask the JAG, you know. I bought a parrot. It looked amazing. It flew away. I was pretty sad. But while I had it, I felt like this American Blackbeard, and we had intelligence that a ship was coming out of Iranian waters, so we stalked this ship through the middle of the night, and we hit this ship, and it was just perfect. It was like watching water roll downhill. And my guys were so fluid and so dynamic, just doing with this thing that they were built to do. And it wasn't just men. We had 2 female Marine Corps aviators flying around the ship, and our snipers were hanging out the door, giving us green lasers and red lasers, telling us where to go and where not to go, and just this beautiful demonstration of skill. And I was proud. And we were getting ready to disembark and go hit another ship. And I remember turning and looking at my chief. And for those of you who don't know much about the military, in the military, and all but the aviation community, in the military, the enlisted is what our enemies rightly fear. The enlisted is where the courage, creativity, initiative, and valor is. And if the enlisted are the backbone, the senior enlisted are the spinal cord, the chiefs, the gunnies, the staff sergeants. And my chief was amazing. He's about 6'3", 240 pounds. He played linebacker at Fresno State. He'd been in the SEAL teams for almost 18 years. He'd actually one of the instructors that put me through Hell Week, and I always wanted to prove myself to him. I always wanted to demonstrate I was worth it to him. And I remember we're getting ready to disembark and go hit another ship, and I turned and looked at him, and I said, "Hey, Chief, the boys were excellent. We ought to do something for them." And I'll never forget it. He stopped dead in his tracks, and he turned, and he looked at me, and he said, "Hey, sir, the reward for excellence is no punishment. I'm not here to be excellent. I'm here to be elite." He stomped off. "Hey, sir, the reward for excellence is no punishment. I'm not here to be excellent. I'm here to be elite. There's a difference. I'm not done yet." He stomped off. And I thought two things in that moment. And the first one is, man, I'm so scared of that guy. Like, golly, Moses. I was scared of him before then, but after that, I didn't want to make eye contact with him. I'm like, I'm going to get some coffee, or I'll bring you some coffee. If I've done well, I can have coffee. I don't want coffee. I'll stand over here. I was scared of him. And the second thing was, got it. All my life, every day part of that day made sense to me. And the rest of them did as well. Because what happened is, I don't have a father. My dad died when I was young. When I lost my father, I picked these percentages of qualities in people's lives that I just wanted to see in my own, that reminded me of him and that he wanted from me. And there was unbelievable diversity in who these people were. There were men and there were women, and there were teachers and preachers and academics and athletes and moms and dads. And the thing that made them all sync together for me, this red thread of continuity that went through all of them, was this. When my chief said that, they did what everybody else said they were going to do, but they weren't done yet. For me, that's the difference between being excellent and being elite. On the continuum of outcomes, there's really only 5. There's bad, there's average, there's good, there's excellent, and elite. And I think most of life comes down to what outcomes we're willing to accept from ourselves and those alongside us on these maps that we say matter to us. And the difference between being excellent and being elite is simply that. Can you reload when others are relaxing? And can you stay restless when competition rests? Through the sport, through athletics, you were sharing that life lesson with these incredible athletes. But I got to tell you, sometimes I think we learn more from the athletes than they learn from us. If I look at these things that I've been around, these things I've tried to bake into my life, these qualities, these characteristics, these attributes that I think maybe matter most in life, regardless of what map we're talking about, there's really 5 of them, and I call them the pursuit points. Elites are balanced, they're curious, they're tribal, they're intentional, and they're authentic. But with the time that we have today, I want to share the one that I think matters most, and it's the thing that I see these athletes teach me every time I've ever been involved in the Special Olympics. I mean, athletes on the whole for sure, but none more so than these Special Olympic athletes. I see it every time. And that quality is curiosity. For me, curiosity is a superpower. Curiosity is maybe the single persistent quality I've seen in every high achiever I've ever been around on the ball field, the battlefield, in the boardroom, and at the breakfast table. This fearlessness that is demanded of you if you're going to stay curious. And athletes, I just want to encourage you to stay curious. And volunteers and law enforcement, there's nothing better than being a facilitator for an adventure, putting wheels on the wagon as they chase these high and hard X's. And for me, curiosity is really 5 things. Curiosity is a qualifier, it's a criteria. If I'm not done and you are, then conflict is inevitable. At some point in time, we're not going to get along. I got to be around people who are not done yet, because I'm not done yet either. And every time I'm around one of these athletes, I just get this visceral, primal, nuclear-powered sense of not being done yet. Athletes are teaching us as you learn about yourself. It's a criteria. The second thing is curiosity is courage. And it is the co-equal and precursor to physical courage. And I'm not diminishing physical courage when I say that. I know physical courage. I've been around physical courage my entire life. I was raised by a single mom after my father died. I went to an institute that teaches courage and valor. And I know physical courage. I'm in a room full of men and women who live out physical courage every day in your professions as protectors of all of us. But the truth about physical courage is this. We're brave because we have to be. There's an element of necessity to it. We have to do it. And I'm not taking anything away from it, I'm just being honest about it. And that's what elevates curiosity to the terrain of courage, is all we have to do is not do this, and no one will know that we didn't know. No one will know that we didn't know. So why don't we do this? I'll only speak for myself. I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm somewhat accomplished. And to this day, when I'm in a room full of people like you and some of these athletes that I respect and admire, to this day I have a knot in the pit of my stomach when I have a question. Because I'd just rather you think I know. I'm afraid of the answer. I'm afraid of the work that comes with the answer. I'm afraid of making myself I don't know. I'm afraid of what you'll think about me when you find out I don't know. But that's the very definition of courage, right? Is action in the face of fear. So when we see people doing this, we know we're in the presence of people that have courage. And I find courage to be a prerequisite for any great thing. Courage is a criteria. Curiosity is courage. It's a criteria. It's a creator. It's a creator. For me, every great thing in my life was on the other side of a question that scared me. And I think that's true for you. And athletes, there's greatness on the other side of this next event, this next rep, this next try. That's where we find ourselves, the best of ourselves. Every great thing is on the other side of a question that scared me. Hey, I wonder if I can. I wonder if we will. I wonder if she will. I wonder if we'll make it. Everything I'd never give back is on the other side of a question that scared me. And athletes in competition give us a chance to make that courage muscle strong through the questions we ask ourselves with uncertainty between us and the outcome. The matter, the trying. Courage is a catalyst. Curiosity is a catalyst. Whatever that next level is, curiosity is going to reveal that to us faster than anything else. This is why I love sports. This is why I love this domain that you're spending time with people on. For me, curiosity is a catalyst. Whatever that next level is, whatever that next part of ourselves we're supposed to find out, curiosity will reveal that to us through competition. I love water sports. I think water sports are amazing because we're always fighting for second. The water always wins. Water is undefeated. Michael Phelps is just the fastest person on the planet at not dying in the water. He just doesn't die in the water fast. Because you got to use water's rules, and whatever water tells you, you abide by that. So Michael Phelps is incredible. He's one of our most decorated athletes. But if you listen to his interviews for his last Olympics, you'll hear him say something. He'll say, "This is the first Olympics I trained for." What? What a stunning admission. And he's not saying he didn't train. What he's saying is this is the first Olympics where he couldn't just show up and be better than anyone else. He had this sense of urgency sometimes only righteous fear gives us. And he trained and he produced an Olympics that we still talk about. And if I'm Michael Phelps, I'm proud, but I do wonder how good could I have been if I started as curious as in it. I'm a 50-year-old man. I don't know that I do anything different, but I do almost everything differently. If I could tell the 24-year-old Clint anything, I'd go back and say, "Hey, stud, ask more questions than you want to. Listen longer than you think you have to." And I don't think I'd do anything different, but I would do almost everything differently. And the last thing that curiosity is it's a complacency killer. And complacency is a killer. Complacency in the supply chain of any catastrophe, any disaster, it's always there. And when we reject complacency simply by being courageous, we push complacency out of the room because complacency and curiosity are incompatible. They are mutually exclusive. They cannot coexist. And what I'm reminded of today as I'm around the athletes, you professionals that help this amazing event happen, is the unbelievable power of curiosity lived out every day and poured out on the field of competition. And it's an amazing thing to see, and it's humbling. You know, this is the week of Veterans Day, and I think for veterans in the room, what a lot of us would tell you is Veterans Day is Memorial Day Part 2. And we miss our friends on Veterans Day. And we want you to know about them. We want you to miss them like we do. But let me tell you about the veterans I know that I miss, that aren't with us anymore. They would crave the opportunity to watch you athletes be courageously curious about what you can do next. In many ways, you're just the best of us. And volunteers, the opportunity to help someone discover something about themselves and be reminded of that in yourself is a powerful thing. You're using your time. I don't remember much about my father's funeral. I remember there were a lot of people there. And I remember his best friend reading Jack London's credo. And Jack London's credo is this: I would rather be ashes than dust. I would rather be a splendid meteor with every atom in magnificent glow than a giant slumbering planet. The proper function of man is to live, not merely to exist. I shall not waste my time trying to prolong them. I shall use my days. That is what's happening here, all across the world, culminating here with magic happening in between the torch runs. You are using your days, and I'm grateful to get to be a small part of it. I loved being in the Navy. I loved everything about it. I loved our language and our lessons and our lore. And as this young man who buried my father and lost some of my friends and my elders and my mentors, I had to find this battle cry. This thing was just mine. And a battle cry is written in your marrow. It's in your bones. They can't beat it out of you. And I found it on the shores of the Severn at the Naval Academy on Rip Miller Field where we practiced football. And the thing was, hold fast, stay true. I used to write on my knuckles, HOLD, FAST, STAY, TRUE, for every game, for every mission, for do anything that matters to me now. When I'm sitting at a table getting ready to come and visit with you leaders and athletes. And here's what it means. It's not unique to the United States Navy. As long as the men and women have been going to sea, they've been saying this. And what it means in the olden days when men and women go out to sea and the ships are made of wood and the storms would rise on the deck of a ship, everybody on the deck of a ship would look at each other and yell, hold fast, hold fast, hold fast. What they're telling you to do is grab the stuff that lasts. Proven, strong, weathered, scarred, still here. The gift of the Special Olympics is to remind us what's still here, what's worth hanging on to. Stay true is for you. It's for me. It's for the athlete in the fires of competition. I'm saying like, hey, there's a place we're going for. This got really hard, and we're going to let the winds, the waves, and the storms steer, so we're going to stay true, and we need you to stay true. Athletes, you remind us of what's worth holding fast to and staying true to. Leaders, men and women with a law enforcement torch run, you are lighting the match and helping us be reminded of our best selves. There's going to be a million opportunities today, to be bad, average, good, excellent, or elite. And the challenge is, let's be elite. Be elite, be elite. Why be anything else? Curiosity will stoke the fires of the best parts of us. And I'm grateful to you for lighting the match and keeping the flame lit. Hold fast. Stay true. I'm not done yet, and I'm so grateful that neither are you. Thank you, law enforcement, torch relay, for all that you do. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.